Hello everyone. In the previous session, we talked about management of the second stage of labor. Today we'll talk about management of the third stage of labor. What we'll do in the management? The aim of management is to prevent complications, especially postpartum hemorrhage. The third stage of labor has got various complications like postpartum hemorrhage, retained placenta, sepsis in the genital tract, uterine rupture, inversion of the uterus. But among all these complications, the commonest one is postpartum hemorrhage. So we have to manage the third stage of labor to observe the patient so that we can prevent the postpartum hemorrhage. So prevention of PPH is must. After the delivery of the fetus, the uterine fundus and body are palpated. They are not massaged. We have to palpate the fundus and body of the uterus. It is to note the tonicity of the uterus. This happens many times that after the second stage of labor, after the expulsion of the fetus, uterus loses its tonicity. So uterus becomes atonic. When uterus gets atonic, the contractions of the uterus also gets poor. And for the expulsion of the placenta, the uterine contractions are must. Right? So we have to check the tonicity of the uterus is as it is or it has been lost. So we have to check the tonicity of the uterus. Atonic uterus is very important cause of the postpartum hemorrhage and retained placenta that you must have studied when this topic has been discussed with you, right? Bladder should be catheterized if found to be full. After emptying of the bladder in the second stage of labor, few hours have been passed. So if the bladder is found to be full, it should be made empty. Wait and watch policy should be adopted to allow spontaneous placental separation and its descent into vagina. Usually within 5 minutes after expulsion of the fetus, placenta spontaneously comes out per vagina. So it separates spontaneously and expels out also spontaneously. So we have to wait and watch. Any unnecessary hurry should be avoided. It should not be done to promote the expulsion of the placenta or to cause the expulsion of the placenta. So we have to wait and watch. We have to keep cool. We have to wait for the spontaneous separation of the placenta. Now, how can we know placenta has separated from uterine wall? So, there are certain signs of placental separation, and these signs usually appear within 5 minutes. Uterus becomes hard, globular and mobile from side to side. So, it is hard in the consistency, becomes globular and mobile from side to side. Fundus rises above the level than that after delivery. Usually after delivery, the fundal height reaches at the 20 weeks pregnancy level, that is just below the umbilicus, right? But here the fundus rises above 20 weeks level. That means placenta has been separated. It has separated from uterine wall. The permanent lengthening of the cord outside the vulva. The umbilical cord totally is seen after outside the vulva. And the most important test to know the placental separation is the pressure test. At the pubis, with the help of your palm, give a pressure to the fundus, right? So pressure is given in the upward direction. With the help of your palm, give a pressure to the fundus. Give a pressure just at the pubic level, so that by giving pressure upward, what you are doing? You are pushing the uterus up. You are pushing the fundus up. At the same time, keep your eyes on the visible length of the umbilical cord, because now the fetus is out, so some length of the umbilical cord is outside the vagina. So when you are giving pressure with your hand at the pubis towards upward, keep your eyes on the length of the umbilical cord. On giving pressure, if the umbilical cord goes in, that means that placenta has not yet separated. Placenta is still attached to the uterine wall. to the fundus. That's why by giving pressure to the fundus, when placenta goes high, umbilical cord also goes in. But on giving pressure, there is no difference on the visible length of the umbilical cord. Umbilical cord remains as it is. It doesn't go in and also not coming out. The length remains as it is. That means placenta has been separated. Placenta is already separated. This stage is very important to know the placental separation. Now after going through these signs, delivery of separated placenta occurs by its own. So there is spontaneous expulsion of the separated placenta. If spontaneous expulsion of the placenta fails, it does not occur. You wait for a few minutes. Within these few minutes time, placenta spontaneously comes out because placenta has already separated. But if spontaneous expulsion does not occur, you wait for sufficient time, still placenta is not coming out. In that case, you have to go for the fundal pressure test. With the help of your thumb and finger, give a pressure to the fundus. This pressure is upward and backward. The pressure should be given when the uterus is hard. Pressure should be given when the uterus is hard. You have to check the consistency of the uterus, and when you find the uterus hard, at that time this pressure is given. This pressure should be sustained. Through this sustained pressure, placenta separates. Right? So that is the fundal pressure test. Another method is control cord traction. Traction means a pull. You can see the few length of the or some length of the umbilical cord. With the umbilical cord, you have to gently rotate the umbilical cord. So by gently rotating the umbilical cord, along with the rotation, you also pull the umbilical cord downward. When you are doing it gently, placenta spontaneously expelled out. This traction should also be done when the uterus is hard. It should be done by the experienced doctor who know how to do this process. Because if the fresh doctor who doesn't have any experience of having this process, if does it haphazardly, it will lead to haphazard separation of the placenta and will lead to the postpartum hemorrhage. So severe hemorrhage may occur following the childbirth if it is done haphazardly. That's why it is called controlled cord traction. Controlled traction. Pulling of the cord is done, but this pulling should be done very gently. It should be done in the controlled way, right? This will also cause separation of the placenta. After the placenta comes out per vagina, the placenta and membranes are carefully examined for their intactness. Whether the placenta is intact or not, you have to check both the maternal and fetal surfaces of the placenta. You must be knowing that the placenta has two surfaces, maternal surface and fetal surface. So both the surface, you have to check the maternal surface specially, because sometimes the placental beads are retained. Placenta is somewhere torn. These retained beads of the placenta may cause postpartum hemorrhage, right? So to avoid it, and if these beads are retained in the uterus, they may cause a sepsis. So to avoid all this, check the placenta whether it is intact or not. If you find it to be torn, if you find some beads of the placenta are missing, then look for those pieces in the uterine cavity and make the arrangement for removal of those retained beads so that the further damage will not occur to the genital tract. Later on, the perineum, vagina and cervix should be inspected for any tear. We discussed earlier that if the systematic cut is not done, episiotomy is not done, there may be tear in the perineum. Along with the perineum, tear may also occur in the vagina and cervix. So inspect all these parts for any such tear. And if the tear is found, its proper suturing should be done and then dressing should be applied. If episiotomy has been done, then the episiotomy wound should be sutured. Vulva should be washed with Dettol or Savlon solution, that means with antiseptic solution. It is dried and then covered with a sterile vulval pad. You have to put a pad because after delivery the hemorrhage will occur per vagina. So to manage it, the sterile pad is must. After delivery, mother's pulse and blood pressure should be measured. So monitoring of the mother is important, whether after delivery mother is stable, and observe the patient at least for 1 hour for development of the true postpartum hemorrhage, because true PPH is likely to occur during this first hour after delivery. So observation during this period is very, very important. And finally, care of the baby. You have to clean the air passage that we discussed earlier also. Newborn should be examined for any congenital defect like cleft palate. Birth time, birth weight, birth length, sex of the baby, all these should be noted for the hospital record. When the baby was born, what is the birth weight, birth length, sex of the baby, whether it is a girl child or a boy child, so male or female, it should be noted. It is required for the hospital record. Identification marks should be placed on both baby and mother. This is important. It is important there is a large scale in the large maternity hospitals. There may be interchange of the babies because the newborns all look alike. So differentiation between them is difficult. That's why for the baby and mother, identification marks should be placed. Cord should be properly ligated and antiseptic dressing should be applied. So cord dressing is also important. So this was about the management of labor, and with this session I have completed the topic of normal labor. We'll discuss some other topic in the new session. Thank you.